When an adult holds the shell to his ear and says, "Hello, hello, yes, Brianna is here," and handing the shell to the child, she is modeling substitution. Adults who play with children engage in these kinds of experiences every day, but they don't understand the significance the experience play in the child's development of later school skills. The word cat does not look like a cat, and therefore the child must be able to substitute the abstract symbol, the word, for the mental image of the cat. When the child engages in this kind of pretense, the object of the pretense is in its mind. He is developing his abstract thinking skills, or his imagination. Adults are supporting the development of this kind of pretense when they use music to encourage the child to gallop, like a pony, or pretend to drive the car while sitting on a bench. Active agent. The child acts as an active agent when he animates a toy. When the child pretends that a toy is carrying out an action, he may begin to make noises and then begin to talk for his toys, even changing the voices. Adults need to be ready with verbal prompts and questions, such as, "Where is your car going?" or "Is Daddy driving?" This behavior away from sensory motor play, rolling or smashing the car across the floor and into the wall, and into dramatic play. Sequence, no story. In this kind of pretense behavior, the child repeats a single pretense act involving multiple receivers. For example, he fills several sequence, no story. In this kind of pretense behavior, the child repeats a single pretense act involving multiple receivers. For example, he fills several containers with sand, puts them on the table, and says, "Birthday cakes?" Or he puts a number of dolls into the cradle one at a time, converting each one with a blanket and giving it a gentle pat. The child puts plates, cups, and plastic food on the table. He goes to the toy stoves and stirs in the pot. He then takes the dolls from the cradle and places them in the chairs at each plate. He says, "Dollies, eat," and then puts them to sleep again in the cradle. The adult must verbalize the story for the child by making comments such as, "I see you cooked a good dinner for the babies. Did they like their dinner?" The sequence of the events or the story should continue to be verbalized by the adult as it unfolds throughout the child's play. Adults in the life of this older infant are vital to the development of play skills and should engage the older infant with objects, use language to explain actions, and encourage moves toward symbolic or dramatic play. The child imitates the adult's behavior. The child begins these imitations with the repetition of actions he sees around him and later moves into the make-believe play. Many children who are not successful in schoolwork cannot engage in high levels of make-believe play and have not developed good expressive language. The ability to represent one's world symbolically is an essential skill needed to successfully accomplish the requirements of school. Construction play is discussed in the work of Piaget and Smolansky of 1968. Now, during construction play, Piaget suggests that the child is practicing the skill he will need for later schoolwork. Dr. Charles Wolfgang, in his book School for Young Children, suggests that construction materials can be classified on a continuum from the most fluid to the most structured. Fluid materials have no predetermined shape, such as sand, water, mud, clay, Play-Doh, etc. And structured construction materials have a predetermined shape that dictates how the child uses them. Large Legos, cardboard blocks, soft vinyl blocks, unit blocks, and puzzles are a few structured construction materials that can be used in the play of infants and toddlers. The infant and toddler need to explore many construction play materials in sensory motor play before he will be ready to create a product. The older infant and toddler will need daily opportunities to explore messy materials such as water, sand, oobleck, which is cornstarch and water, paint, and crayons. The older infant and toddler learn through his senses and messy play experiences. This helps him to control materials and his own behaviors. With adult support, toddlers will learn to control paint and crayons, moving from the up and down strokes seen in early scribbling attempts to controlled scribbling with circles and the repetition of specific marks. They will begin to fill the entire page with paint and ask for a second page. Additional colors should be added at this time so that the child can begin to develop beyond just sensory motor behavior at the easel. Adults should not attempt to teach children the stages of early scribbling or easel painting. The adult's role is to provide opportunities to experience these materials daily and to scaffold the child's experience with language. The following scales can be observed in the products of toddler. The acquisition of the skills necessary to progress through these scales is supported through the intensity and density of play experience with these materials. Arrange play activities so that positive social interactions are supported. Young children need more personal space than older children. They have difficulty crowding into small spaces such as playhouses that are designed for home and use by one child. Scaffolding the pre-play experience. The pre-scaffolding of the play for older infants and toddlers will need to be planned to support the children's development. When children have finished breakfast, for example, the adult can gather them on a rug and sing a few songs or discuss a book that will expand their language. The pre-play experience may take place as children move from one activity to another. For example, if the group of 6 had climbed onto the social swing and a few began to walk down, the adult can remind them of play opportunities with simple, quick statements, such as, "The cows are eating grass over near the sandbox, if anyone would like to play with them." And then, "The balls are all lined up near the fence for kicking and throwing." The teacher then would watch where they go and move to the scaffold their play further. Other strategies are read a book or sing songs about the children's interests. Discuss briefly and simply any rules such as, "Remember our sand is for digging," and "We throw balls." Give ideas for how to use materials by making statements such as, "The trucks are ready to give the animals a ride," or "We can make birthday cakes today and bake them in the oven." Help the children organize themselves so they experience positive social interactions. For example, if Keisha and Todd often fight over toys, move where they decide to play so that you can scaffold their interactions. Scaffolding the individual child's play experience. In order to scaffold each child's play, the adult must understand child development and the stages of play. They must have good play and language skills and delight in the messiness and energy of the young child. They must be willing to get on the floor or ground and fully engage themselves in the play experience. You must observe each child's play and elaborate on their experiences. Model appropriate play, behavior, and language. Enhance and extend their language attempts. Increase socialization opportunities through support of peer interactions. And observe and document each child's play development and